UFC 322, Della Maddalena versus Makhachev at Madison Square Garden in New York. Who's ready for this? Big time fights, big time matchups all throughout the whole card and the main card especially. We're going to go through that and try to give you a 5-leg parlay, if you will. And hopefully we get some wins and get some money's because I'm really excited about it. And then we're having a special segment here at the end, so stay tuned for that. But first, we're going to talk, you got to subscribe. I forgot to say that. Subscribe and comment and share and like and all that fun shit. All right, so we had a fight, UFC Fight Night, and we're going to go through the who you got, if you're ready for that. My kind of votes have been kind of dropping off recently. I don't know. This was UFC Fight Night Vegas 111. This was Bonfim versus Brown. And Bonfim won against Brown. I thought Brown was going to get the knockout. You guys thought so too. 60% to 40% on 5 votes. But unfortunately, I was wrong. I think I went 50% on that card. Actually won monies on my NFL and college bets though. And then I had, a couple weeks ago, I went back to back on 3-leggers, which was pretty nice. But we'll talk about that here in a second. But this is the who you got. Bonfim gets the win. Brown gets the loss. Moving on. Now we're going to go ahead and just get right down into the UFC 322 main card, shall we? This is November 15th at Madison Square Garden. It's a lightweight 155 as the main opener on pay-per-view. And it's a stacked headliner with Jack Maddalena defending against Islam Makhachev with a co-main Valentina Shevchenko versus Zhang Weili in the flyweight. So we're going to go ahead and talk about this. Now, for this one, Dariush and Saint-Denis, it's a classic veteran versus a rising contender matchup in one of the UFC's deepest divisions. And both fighters are southpaws, by the way, so it's going to be a hard one for me because I usually always pick the southpaw. And they're both coming off wins, making it a high-stake clash in the top 10 positioning. Now, Dariush obviously is the veteran here. He's 36 years old, 5'10". He is 17-6 in the UFC, currently ranked the number 9, just coming off of a win via decision against Moicano. We don't talk about the L's, but he has a long winning streak before that loss. Now he's got 65% submissions with 15 subs. So he's looking really good. Now Benoit Saint-Denis, the God of War, gotta love that nickname. God of War is freaking sick. And he's 29 at 5'11". He is 7-3 currently in UFC, ranked 13th. He just came off of a sub against Rufi. And then he won again against Prelobek via sub. So dude's a freaking beast. 93% finishing rate with 14 subs. Now, taking a look at Benal Dariush, he has elite black belt jiu-jitsu, one of the best grapplers at 155 pounds, with deceptive power in his hands. Now, he's excellent at chaining takedowns off strikes, which is pretty sweet if you watch him. Now, he's got really good control time, too. He's always hunting submissions as well, and it's a good grounding game. So, Benoit Saint-Denis, same thing, though. He has relentless forward pressure with special forces background. Marches forward like the God of War, throwing heavy combinations and looking forward to chaotic exchanges. He's got a guillotine, rear naked as a specialist with 2 straight submissions wins in 2025. He has a high output in strikes, but absorbs a lot of 42% strikes. But both are submission threats, and grappling exchanges are going to be fireworks, boys. I'm just telling you right now, this is going to be crazy if you're liking grappling. They're just going to stand and bang for a second, and then both are going to try to clash in, get in the grappling, and submit on the ground. So let's take a look at the paths of victory for Dariush. Uses footwork and jab to circle away from the fence and disrupt BSD's blitzes with low kicks, then chain wrestling. Now, if he gets top control, his jiu-jitsu level is above, and he could submit or outpoint BSD over 3 rounds. But for Saint-Denis, he's got to close distance immediately and back Dariush into the cage and unload volume on him and play some dirty boxing and get him out of there, maybe via power or guillotines. The betting odds here, Saint-Denis is a minus 200 right now, and Dariush is the underdog at plus 165. Now, my prediction. This is a 50-50 banger. We just talked about that. It's going to be a lot of grappling exchanges, a lot of punches to get to grappling. Going to get into the cage grappling, takedown defense, takedowns. It's going to be whoever wants it more, who has heart. But I have Dariush winning by submission in round 2 or unanimous decision. Now, he weathers the early storm from BSD with repeatedly takedowns, but he can withstand that. He either submits him on the grinds or it's a 29-28 or 30-27 fight. And that is my pick for Dariush. Let's go to the next one. Leon Edwards versus Carlos Prates. And this is a classic former champion in must-win mode. Of course, we're talking about Leon Edwards versus a red-hot knockout artist with the Nightmare from Brazil. Now, let's take a look at some of his stats here. Both are kind of close in the same age, kind of close in height. Now, Carlos Prates has a 4-inch reach advantage on Edwards, so it's good to note there. Let's take a look at Edwards now. He's been having a rocky start, nicknamed Rocky. So he's 14-4 in the UFC, currently ranked at number 4. He lost via sub against Brady. Now, Brady is on the card. I believe he fights right after him, which is pretty cool. And then he lost to a decision versus Muhammad. But he had a long reign before that. 32% finishing rate with 7 knockouts. And then Carlos Prates, 6-1, up-and-comer, ready to get the title shot at number 9, coming off of a KO win against Neal with a spinning elbow. But he did lose a decision to Gary, but he had 4 straight knockouts before that. 82% finishing rate with 18 knockouts. Taking a look at Leon Edwards is one of the most technically sound strikers in MMA history. He has elite distance management with stinging jabs. He's got vicious body-head combos and devastating low kicks that will cripple opponents over time. He's a southpaw with championship pace, and I love my southpaws. This is going to get interesting as we come down to the predictions. But his weaknesses, he can start slow though, and he's passive. We saw that on a previous fight. He just seemed like he wasn't in that fight at all, did it? If you guys watched that last fight against Edwards, he just let the opponent do whatever he wanted. I don't understand. But let's take a look at Carlos Prates. He's very explosive. He's a creative striker with, guess what? Nuclear power. It ain't just regular power. He don't just have strong power. He's got nuclear power in those hands. He can switch stances. He can destroy you either way. He's got flying knees. He's got heavy hooks. And he fights and he throws with bad intentions. And of course, he's part of the fighting nerds. Now, this is a pure striker's delight. Edwards has textbook precision, while Prates is chaotic violence. And it's going to be a stand-up banger. Look for possible asterisks fight of the night here. If Edwards comes to fight, I'm just saying, it's all up to Edwards how this goes. Edwards, he has to stay on the outside, chop the legs, frustrate Prates with range control and counters. Now he's got to mix in level changes to threaten takedowns. Prates, how does he have to win? He's got to march forward. He's got to cut off the cage. He's got to force pocket exchanges, whereas power and unpredictability take over. He's got to land and overwhelm him like he did versus Neal. Taking a look at the betting odds. It's bouncing back and forth here. Carlos Prates at a minus 175 to a minus 95. He's a favorite. Leon Edwards at a plus 145 to a plus 165. Now, my prediction. This could be a possibly massive upset potential and is one of the most intriguing stylistic matchups so far this year. Now, Prates is a betting favorite for good reason. He's got really strong power. He's terrifying. Now, Edwards, he's looking to have bounce back off of these losses. It's all in what he's got in between his head and his heart. That's all he's got. Guess what? I'm going to take him. I'm going to take Leon Edwards by decision, 30-27, unanimously. So what do you think about that? I just want to know your thoughts. Now this one, next, Sean Brady versus Michael Morales. This is an absolute number one contender eliminator in the deepest division in MMA. The winner is almost certainly next in line for a title shot. Now, Sean Brady, 32. He's 5'10", 8-1 in the UFC, ranked number 3. He just won, we just talked about him, against Edwards, and he got a sub. And at 61% finishing rate, he's got 6 subs with 5 knockouts. And looking at Michael Morales, 26, 6 foot, he is undefeated so far. Michael Morales, Venom from Ecuador, undefeated at 7-0. He is 8th in the UFC. He's got knockout over Burns. He's got a knockout over Magny. 7-fight UFC streak on finishes has been dominant so far with a 78% finishing rate, 14 KOs. Taking a look at Sean Brady, one of the very best American wrestler grapplers under 170 pounds. He's a D1 credentials, suffocating top control. He's got vicious ground and pound. He's got a nasty guillotine and rear naked choke. Now, he's excellent at chaining takedowns off strikes as well, with improving boxing, which is crisp jabs and heavy hands. His win over Leon Edwards was a master class, relentless pressure, fence wrestling, and a fight-ending sub. Now, his weaknesses, though, he could be hittable when closing distance. Only loss was a striking fight against Bilal Muhammad, where he couldn't impose his grappling early. Now, Michael Morales, he's undefeated. The undefeated phenom. Freakish physical tools. He's huge for the welterweight division. He's got massive reach. Let's take a look at that massive reach. 79 inches to 72 against Brady. He's got my math sucks. He's got 7-inch reach advantage. He's got Morales here. He's sharp. He's technical. He picks apart his opponents with calf kicks. He's got one-shot power. He's got back-to-back first-round knockouts over veterans Magny and Burns. We just talked about that. And he's a solid 89% takedown defense as well in scrambles. But he's untested. So we don't know what's going to happen when he gets tested or gets dragged into deep waters. Can Brady do that to him? Of course he can. And what do you think is going to happen? This is a grappler versus striker matchup. Brady needs to push relentless pace and cut off the cage, get to the mat repeatedly, and once there, he needs to control and get the submission. Morales needs to use reach and footwork to stay outside. You got to stay away from Brady because Brady's going to come in and try to take you down. He's got to stuff a lot of takedowns early. And to build confidence, he's got to pour on the volume. And you got to get a clean knockout against Brady because Brady's going to keep coming. And Brady's tough, and he can take the shots. So the betting on Sean Brady is actually favored at minus 138 to 145. Michael Morales at a plus 110 to 120 is an underdog. So my prediction, this is a 50-50 fight, grappler versus striker. But I am going to pick Brady. Brady is on another level right now with that Edwards fight. His wrestling is suffocating. They said, I remember a couple fights before, the commentators were talking about how Brady is probably going to be the most dangerous in this division so far. And I think he's going to take it. I think he's actually going to come up and get this win. And we're talking about the predictions. I have it 30-27 or 29-28. Unanimous decision. Taking Morales into deep waters. And Morales, he's not going to be able to have that 80% takedown defense against Brady. No way in hell, boys. Now, co-main event. This is going to be for the flyweight title in the women's. Valentina Shevchenko versus Zhang Weili. Arguably the greatest women's MMA fight ever assembled on paper. Number 1, pound for pound, Shevchenko versus the number 2, pound for pound, Zhang. 2 former dominant champions, both multi-time title holders in a pure martial arts class. Valentina Shevchenko, 37. Zhang Weili is 36. Bullet versus Magnum. That's pretty interesting. Both are bullets. Both are named after guns. Let's get it on. All right. Valentina will have about a 3.5 reach advantage. She's 14-3-1 in the UFC. Zhang is 10-2. And taking a look with the wins of Shevchenko, she's been dominant And they had the Grasso trilogy there. She beat Ferrao. I don't know how to pronounce her name. It's French, but it's like Manon Ferre or something. I don't know. But she's 68% finishing rate, 8 knockouts, and 9 submissions. Very, very tough opponent now. But she's precision versus pressure. Paths to victory. Shevchenko, circling outside, punished with low kicks and body shots. She's going to counter Zhang's entries. And you use her superior reach and timing to frustrate her out. And then outpoint her into the late rounds. This is going to be a 5-rounder. So Zhang needs to close the distance fast, overwhelm the volume and power, mix in takedowns, and make it dirty in the clinch. That's her way to the victory. But Shevchenko is a minus 135. All these fights in the main card are really, really close, by the way. Wei Li is at a plus 115 at the dog. My prediction, absolute masterpiece on paper. 2 of the top 3 greatest female fighters of all time. Both in their mid-30s, still in their prime. Zhang's size and strength boosted 125 could be huge, and her wrestling improvements make her a nightmare. But Valentina is the division queen for a reason. She's got timing, she's got accuracy, and she can expose big shots at any given moment at Madison Square Garden. I predict Valentina Shevchenko wins by unanimous decision, 49-46 or 50-45. Either way, Shevchenko remains the champion. Now we're going into our main event of the evening. Jack Della Maddalena versus Islam Makhachev. Who's ready for this? At Madison Square Garden, the main event at 170 pounds, 5-rounder. This is a pound-for-pound number 1 versus a surging champ. Jack Della Maddalena, the champion from Aussie. 29 years old, 6 foot tall, the 73-inch reach, 10-2 in the UFC with a 78% finishing rate, 14 knockouts with an 18 streak, which is crazy. And the Dagestan dude from Russia, Islam Makhachev, 34 years old, 5'10". If these fighters can't wrestle, you got to send them to Dagestan for 2 to 3 years, don't you, boys? 16-1 in the UFC. Dude's been dominant, 59% finishing rate, 11 subs, and 5 KOs. Let's take a look at Maddalena. One of the cleanest, most dangerous boxers in MMA. He's a sniper. He loves the jab. He's got devastating power. He's a southpaw. And you know I love my southpaws, baby. He's got high volume with 5.8 significant strikes per minute. He's got elite takedown defense as well. Now, Makhachev's the most dominant lightweight ever. Khabib-level pressure from Dagestan, both of them. Suffocating top control. He's got vicious ground and pound. And he can use the darce or the rear naked choke. He's a specialist in all those. He's got improved striking. He's crisp. He used to just be a wrestler. Now he can strike as well, which makes him double dangerous. Absorbs almost nothing with standing. He's only 1.8 strikes a minute. Moving up to 15 pounds. He wants to be the most dominant pound fighter in the world. Islam Makhachev. Coming from lightweight, going into welterweight. Going to go crazy, boys. This is going to be an insane matchup. Again, it's in pay-per-view, though. Striker versus grappler. I might have to go to B-Dubs to watch this, by the way. Maddalena to win. And the paths of victory. He's got to keep it standing, use his footwork, and his jab. You got to watch out for those suffocating takedowns. Got to get some takedown defense. He has to. And get that first one. If Maddalena can stuff Makhachev's first takedown in the first, it's going to be a long night, boys. It might be a 5-rounder. Now, Makhachev, he's got to close the distance relentlessly, and he's got to chain wrestling against the cage as well and drag it down however way possible. Now, once on top, he is a control time freak. He's going to freaking do anything he can. You get him in that daggone crucifix, boys. If Makhachev gets Maddalena in the crucifix, it's over, dude. I'm just telling you. Now, Makhachev at minus 270 to 275. Big time favorite, heavy favorite, probably the biggest favorite on the main card. Now, Maddalena at a plus 220 is the underdog. Let's take a look at the predictions. This is the biggest what-if fight of 2025. Now, can Maddalena become the first to consistently deny Dagestani wrestling at welterweight? Can he do that? Is this possible? His striking is truly elite. At 29 years old, in his physical prime, with no weight cut issues at all whatsoever, he has real upset potential, especially at Madison Square Garden. But Islam Makhachev is on a historic run. The weight move looks seamless. He's looking devastating. He's got pressure. He's suffocating. No one has solved his wrestling puzzle in over a decade. Has anybody even got off the mat off this dude once he gets you to the ground? I don't think so. And can Della do it? I doubt that. So I predict Islam Makhachev wins by submission by rear naked choke in the third round. I'm going double down on this. And we're going rear naked choke in the third round. He weathers the early striking, but he can get his takedowns. I don't think Maddalena, he might be able to stuff one. But that dude, Makhachev, is just going to keep consistently trying to take you down any way possible in the clinch, in the cage. He might even just throw you against the cage and get you down and just throw you and toss you. Who knows? But Islam Makhachev gets the win. And that's the way you do it. You guys, there's going to be like a in-process type thing here. I don't know if you guys can see this or not because I had to throw it vertical. So we're doing the BetMGM. And I wanted to do Poor Man Bets. This is a new segment I'd like to call Poor Man Bets. So we're going to take a look at who I was going to take. I'm not going to make I don't really do bets until Friday or Saturday morning. So right now I'm just going to be playing around with it. So we're going to go Russian. We're going to go Russian because look at these minus 1,000. Angela Hill, she doesn't look like she's going to do any good. Give me Klein. And then we're going to go with Sabatini. And then let's go with Dawkins because Kyle Dawkins looks really good coming back. Now, that's just a quick bet. With a 5-leg parlay, that's $10, only going to get you $67. We're pretty much going to do main bets here. Now, the Bo Nickel versus Vieira, that's going to be a tough one. And they dropped Bo Nickel off of the main card, by the way. He is favored at a minus 225 if you see that there. Now, we're going to go ahead. I don't know what your thoughts are about Bo Nickel. Do you think he's going to get the win? I don't know. If he shows up like he did against Ritter, it's going to be a easy loss for him. Now, Dariush and Saint-Denis, we already talked about that. So we got our picks. I picked Dariush at a plus 165. I actually got Edwards. We're going back to back. And then we're going to go Brady. And I got Shevchenko with Islam finishing out on the 5-legger. Now, that's not that bad of a bet there if you want to do $10 for $271. Or double down, what is it, $20 and get like 530 or something, 522. So there's your poor man bets. I usually just do $5 bets. But if I did $5 bets, I'm only going to do 3 legs. So it'll be this one, and this one. That's your little $5 bet. And that's not going to get anything. So that's only going to give you $20. But any win is a win, and that's how I think. So if you're going to do your little poor man bets, do $5 bets at a time and do only 2 or 3 leggers. And you might win you some monies, or at least get your monies back and add you about $5 or $10. That way you can double down next week. And there you go. Love you guys. God bless. Tip the waitress.